Ladies and gentlemen, we're back with another episode of Way of the Warrior. My name is Trevor Martin, and I'm the host. And as you know, having watched previous episodes, I like to go out on the social media and find individuals that are unique and that have the purpose and vision of putting goodness back into this dark world via their personal or their professional life. And a lot of the times, it's simply just a discussion of where they've been, what they're doing now, and what their plans are for the future. And I'm excited because I've got my buddy Jim here today to talk with us a little bit about what he's experienced, what he's trying to accomplish in this world. And Jim, I'll tell you, before we hit record, we had a really, really fast and pretty deep conversation. But one of the things I hope that you touch on is your comic story from when you were young, and the reason why is because of how it landed with me. And I know you're going to talk a little bit about being a creative and things like that, but I gotta say I appreciate I appreciate how you delivered that. So I'm really excited about how this conversation is going to go. Thank you for being here, man.
Yeah, no, it's a pleasure to be here. I feel like now I have to start with that so I don't forget to mention it. That's a lot of
It's,
pressure.
sorry, man. Hey, pressure's off,
No,
and this is all about you. That's that is what this is all about, right? It's just do your damn thing, and along the way, you're gonna get. I mean, you'll have me laughing because I love your sense of humor for sure. Well, go ahead, floor's yours, buddy.
it's funny, because before we started, I tell that just kind of flows right off the tongue. Sounds like almost sounded like it was rehearsed. Now I'm going to tell the story when I was younger. I, you know, but
I did
no,
this, and I'll be like,
yeah,
but
it's like that wasn't a very good story. But my life has really run the gamut. I've been all over the place. I've done a lot of different things, and so as we were talking before, um, for me, it reminded me of the Family Circus, comics from back in the day. And man, I miss those days
okay,
when you'd actually wait, like it's the Sunday comics, and you'd
yes.
argue over it, you'd fight over it, who got them first, and open that thing up. And I loved when they did the little, adventures where it was the little dotted thing. It was all through the neighborhood, maybe over a fence or under something.
Yep.
I have a twin who, she's going to look at the beginning and she'd see the end. And I'm like, don't show me the end. I don't want to see the end. I want to go through whatever he went through to get there, or she
Yeah.
went there. And life is like that. It really
Yeah.
is. I don't know where I'm going to end up ultimately on this planet. Like at the end stage, I know I want to slide into home. I don't want to go
Yeah.
carefully wherever I'm headed. Um, but there's been really fun parts of that dotted trails, and there's been parts that I wish didn't happen, and that's the part somebody spilled coffee on the comic, right?
Yeah. On the comic. Yeah. Yeah.
And it's because it can't be perfect, and then here I'll add this on there. There's going to be those parts of the comic that you grab that old silly putty so you can replicate. Right? I want to do
Yeah.
that again. I want to keep that, but it's never quite the same. It's almost like, I guess I just got to keep moving on. So I look at life that way now because when I was younger, I thought it was all about getting to a certain place and then fulfillment. Or, okay,
Yeah.
now I won't be afraid. Or, I've arrived and there's no arrival. I
Yeah.
hate to break the news to anybody. I mean, look at you, even for you, look at comic books, right? There's no, and you get to the end, and what do you got? The cliffhanger for the next one.
For the next one.
Curse you,
Yeah.
because we don't want it to end, not really. But yeah, my life's been all over. It really has. So
Yeah. I love the fact that that's where you're like, hate to break it to you, right? There's no oh, I made it. This is it. I've arrived. Like you don't. And that's I mean that's life. And what if You know, it's so cliche to just say that's life, but everybody in the audience was like, "Yeah, no shit, Trevor." So, but what if what if you take the mindset that as you're living out each day, like that you have arrived, like, hey, this is enough. Like, this is what I have. What I have right now is enough. This the blessings that I have. uh, I'm good, and anything more that's bestowed upon me, anything more that I receive, well, that's just, that's I'm gonna be grateful for that, but I don't need it.
Yeah,
And I think it's just bonus, right? Like that's the word I was looking for. So to be fair, keeping that mindset, like for me personally, keeping that mindset is extremely hard. I'm driven. No, I want more. I want more. I want another zero on the on the on the salary. I want another, right. I want the next thing. I'm gonna get it. I'm gonna get it. I'm gonna get it. And all too often going through those dotted those dotted lines, those different paths in life, forget, oh, I actually have arrived. I'm okay. I have got all that I need. Because God forbid what I have none get taken, right? I'm okay. I love I love what I have. You were talking about your, those comics, and I wanted to make a funny remark. Just off the cuff remark? So, did your parents ever say, okay, when you're done reading the comics, let's make sure and we save those because that's the wrapping paper for birthdays or Christmas? Because in
oh
our
yeah,
house, it was like, oh, fold those up. We're gonna go keep the funny pages because that's what we're gonna use for that's wrapping paper.
yeah, yeah. It was either that or you were really cool and you use it to cover your books for school.
Yes. Oh,
Man, comic.
or the what was the other one? The duct tape wallets, the
Yeah,
walls made out of duct tape, or the trapper keepers.
then we
Yeah,
had
my
the teachers who wouldn't let you do the comics. You know, it has to be brown paper bag. I don't want you reading the
yeah,
comics. You know,
yes.
yeah,
And then I was the kid that's like, fine, I'll do the brown paper bag, but I'm doodling the shit out of it
make it
on here. And like, I don't know
huge.
if that's appropriate, sir. Right?
Yeah, you
Uh,
can't make a living doing that. Oh,
yeah.
really?
Oh yeah. Look at me now, right?
Here I
Oh
am.
man. I love the comment that you made. We were talking earlier before we hit record. We were talking about kids, and you mentioned the comment about like I see him running around the pool. I'm like, "Ah." Like whoa, 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 like hey, and then it made you stop and go, how am I letting them live, right? Because I look at how we were back in the in the '80s and what we did. And you're talking about Stranger Things, and you're like, no, seriously, kids, like that was me, like that was dad on the bike, like
Yeah,
never going home, the lights on for dinner, like whatever it might be,
yeah,
right? Like we just go on our bikes, go through town, ramp shit you weren't supposed to. Oh yeah,
yeah, yeah, definitely. And what we had discussed as well, you know, my work as a firefighter medic and seeing those
yeah,
traumas and things, it really was turning me into a helicopter parent. You know, when the kids
yeah,
were little, they're older now, but when they were little, and yeah, I really did have to have that kind of wake up call. Wait, I talk about how great it was to basically go off into the woods and be gone all day, you know, there were, you know, bucks out there and there's snakes out there. And my parents, it's not that they didn't care, but I get back then they just, you know, oh, well, I mean, let me know if you're really hurt. But if you got hurt,
yeah,
you were stupid, you're going to be in trouble. So now you're hurt and in trouble. So we really learned even to mend our own wounds, you know, and then
yeah,
fast forward and my kids are doing a fast walk around a pool and I'm stopping them, you know, and I really did have to kind of have that discussion, you know, with myself.
yeah,
And then I had a discussion with my wife, and I was like, listen, for a while, I'm just going to leave the area till I can get this figured out,
yeah,
so they can actually enjoy themselves. But then I knew, well, that's not. I can't be leaving every time the kids are having fun, right? We're having
right.
fun. Where's dad? So I had to make some decisions about my career trajectory. And again, that was all due to you know, PTSD I didn't even know I had from
Yeah,
things that occurred early in life. So yeah, life, man, it'll put you through the ringer, but
well,
you just have to recognize. and it sounds so, I kind of hate when people say this because it sounds trite to me that, life doesn't happen to you, things don't happen to you, they happen for you. But it's true, but I still hate the saying. But
Yeah.
it's true though, but that's a decision. You have to make the decision that they're happening for you. Otherwise, you're really going to be in a world of hurt for a long time. You're going to choose to wallow. So I had to make
Yeah.
decisions so that I wouldn't wallow. Yeah,
Yeah, I like that. It sounds to your point like you're making decisions, your self-awareness on how you are showing up for your kids and your family is, acknowledging, okay, hold on a shit. Hold on a second. I gotta take a step back. But wait, if I take a step back, I'm missing some of the fun. Okay, there's got to be an adjustment here. Because I'm not
yeah,
benefiting anybody with this.
yeah.
Um, and to your point, when you say, life doesn't, um, what did you say? Was it life doesn't happen to you? Or
Yeah, it doesn't happen to you, it happens for you.
that's it. Yeah. So that the same along those lines. Um, the saying that I've heard a lot is God doesn't give you more than you can handle, and I disagree with that. I believe God gives
Yeah,
you let me rephrase if I believe a higher power, whatever, they will rain shit down on you. Like I don't believe at all. I believe that that saying God won't give you more than you can handle. Oh, no, there's going to be lots of shit that you can't handle.
yeah,
That's going to come your way, and it's about having um the awareness to understand when you have to reach out for help, when you have to look to others, when you have to stop yourself and go, okay, um, we got to pivot here, we got to reroute because this shit ain't working. Uh,
yeah.
question, you're talking about the EMT and the firefighter. What I think I kind of got an idea because you're like, I don't want to go out safe. I want to go out sliding into home plate. Absolutely love that. I don't want to go out. I don't want to be careful or cautious. So, which kind of explains a little bit about the choice for the EMT and firefighter. But how did you get on that path in life?
Yeah, it's not as heroic a story as I wish it was. Like I always wanted to be a firefighter or anything like that.
Excuse
To
me.
give you a background, because I mentioned I'm a twin, I have a twin sister. I have two older brothers. They're 8 and 6 years older than I am.
Oh
And
wow.
of
Okay.
course, I was born in the early 70s. Again, no, I do not dye my hair. Because
Dude, I'm telling you,
Italian
I told
lineage,
you before. I'm like, you got some vampire blood in you, bro. Because you
there's
just
no
said 50,
filters.
50s. I'm like, no way.
That's right. Like, there's no filters. Suck it, wrinkles. Like it is what it is. I don't know. But I was born in '72, and different era, right? And so, give you a
Yeah.
little backstory. And my family, my parents are no longer with us. You, we had a great relationship, especially at the end. Early, not so much with my dad. Whether that was him or me, I don't know. But the fact of the matter is, they had two boys, 8, 6 years old, and they wanted a girl. And my mom didn't know she was pregnant, and so they
Oh
didn't do
wow.
back then, right? They did a heartbeat,
Yeah.
and our heartbeats were over each other, and that she didn't know. And she wound up going into an emergency C-section, and on the table they said, "You have a girl," and 7 minutes later they said, "You have a boy," and my mother said, "Well, which one is it?" And they said, "Yeah, it's both."
Baby.
Well, I wasn't
Oh,
expected. I wasn't really, and I don't say this kind of as a pity word. I wasn't wanted in the sense that I wasn't wanted. They wanted a girl. Did
yeah.
they still love me and take care of me? Yes. But our nicknames were she was precious, I was pressure.
Oh,
That was literally
oh,
the
dude.
nickname. I was often called the afterbirth that came to life. And
Oh
these
God.
back in that day and age, and people have to understand, that was it's just funny conversation among relatives, but that stuff seeps into your subconscious. It really does.
Oh,
And then if
dude.
you have any kind of trauma, which I did, and I really pushed that away for decades. Like I'm only now coming to terms with, okay, I need to deal with this because this has affected my
Right
life.
on.
Right. So I never felt because of that trauma, and it was sexual in nature, and I was 5. I know that from that point on, um, I never felt like I was going to be as strong or as good as my brothers. I wasn't going to be as tough as my brothers. Did this happen to them? I don't know. Because it wasn't under the roof. Um, so that's kind of a long intro to the fact that I didn't want to become a firefighter, paramedic. Not really. My father was a
Yeah.
cop. My brother was a cop. I wanted to go off into the arts because I love writing. Yeah, yeah, I
Yeah.
love acting. I loved that world. I'm good at it. But it was the fear. It was the fallback fear. Well, you should do something to fall back on, right? And it was a parental thing. My mother, I just want to
Yeah.
just do something to fall back on. And so I did. I went through fire academy, but I enjoyed it. I really did. Loved the guys there. That camaraderie. I never had that before.
Right on.
Not like that. Paramilitary. And then my desire to be the best, because the competitive side. Well, I don't want to just be a firefighter because the firefighter paramedics get paid more, and they're kind of looked at, like, oh, they know more. So I became an EMT, and then I became a paramedic. In Florida, you really need to be cross trained to work, and so I worked in a county where you could be the only medic on the scene of a mass casualty back in the day. It's changed now, but really that was the trajectory. I found myself in this situation where, as a creative, I absolutely hated it. Creative, we tend to be empathetic. We tend to feel more deeply. I'm working on scenes that are really horrific, and the guys I'm working alongside, they just don't seem as affected. And I'm like, well,
Mm.
I'm not gonna make it. What is going on? But I had no idea that things that had happened to me early on were being triggered by similar situations I was responding to help people. I didn't know any of that.
Yeah.
But back then, there was no debriefing after a call. There was no mental health awareness like there is now. It's really starting to get into the fire service. So it wasn't like I wanted to always do it, but when I did it, I was good at it because I care about people. I was really good. I was a really, really good medic, but I just knew this is affecting me in a way I wasn't anticipating, and I'm
Yeah.
probably gonna have to leave the industry. So I made it about 15 years, three different departments. Love all of them. Still friends with a lot of people there. So yeah,
I can relate to the, when you were talking about the feeling, I'm not going to be as strong as my brothers. I'm not going to be like I can remember. Excuse me. I can remember being in high school and being bullied so bad. I'm just like, holy shit, I gotta go. I'm gonna go home and tell dad. And I go home and I tell dad, and he's like, well, you're the problem. I'm like, what? Well, yeah, you're weak. Like you're the problem. Like if you would stand up for yourself, if you'd fight back, they wouldn't bully you. So it's not their fault that you're getting the shit kicked out of you. It's your fault. So
right.
put up those put up those mitts and it'll stop. And I tried that. It didn't stop. Made it worse. But but still to that day, that mentality, right? You're talking about seeping in your subconscious, that mentality, right? Right. I got a little sign here that says no weak shit. And I look at it in a different way, of course, but like
Yeah,
I get it. Like we have that fear, we have that, especially as men, like, oh shit, I'm, I'm not strong enough, I'm not manly enough. Am I a father? Am I a protector? Am I, oh God, right? So, and then to have like, I don't have a brother, I have two sisters, but to your point, you got your older brothers. Like, how do I stack up to them? And then the ultimate figure, father, like how in the ranking here, where do I fall with my other brothers? So I can
yeah.
imagine, that that little demon chattering up in the old brain there on that. So yeah, how did what so eventually you make the decision to get out of out of being a paramedic. Um, can you talk to us a little bit more? I'm biased here because I'm creative. I love that shit. So you said you have you like acting, you like the writing, things like that. Is that something that you're doing right now?
Not as much as I want to, for sure. Uh,
Okay.
yeah, not as much. And my life, literally, it just overlaps. So I always do more than one thing at a time. Right now, I'm pretty focused, so I'm not so much, following that pattern. But even when I was I would say when I was going through Fire Academy, I guess would have been the time. But I just thought, I'm looking through like flyers, for like Bells, and Macy's and things like that. I'm like, I could do that. Like, how much these
Yeah.
people I could do that? And my family's like, you can't. What are you doing? Like, no, you can't. Yeah, I told. What do you mean that I can't? So I just
Yeah.
found it. I was like, I want to do it, and they were like, cool. So that's how I started. So, and I didn't tell anybody I worked with. I was working at the fire department, and of course, that's the joy of the fire department, right? So I would work 24 hours on. I had 48 hours off. So I got 2 days that I could do something. Now, a lot of firefighters have other businesses. Some just go fishing, whatever you want to do your thing, right? I did
Yep.
fitness and I did the modeling. That's how I started. And so I was like, yeah, do you know the famous chef like Wolfgang Puck from back in the day? Yeah,
Yeah.
I was his hands in one advertisement. Like I put,
Awesome.
it was really cool. It was like a home shopping network. It was nothing
Right.
grandiose, right? And I put a chef jacket on, and they put dry ice inside the pan, and then put rice over it, and then I gotta like shake it and do this stuff so it looks like steam, and it was cool.
Yeah.
Just loved seeing how everything was working. And then because I'm a firefighter and I'm working to save people's lives, I'm not a diva when I'm on set. So suddenly the makeup people love me, the clothes, the wardrobe people love me because I put stuff back on a hanger. It's
Uh-huh.
unreal. I don't throw stuff around. And so they're
Yeah.
requesting me you got to get that guy. We love him. He's so nice. He's so kind. It's a
Yeah.
really good business lesson as well. Treat
Yeah.
people kind if you don't, even if you don't have no idea what may come of it, just because it's the right thing to do. So all of these things are overlapping, right? I'm modeling. I go into the fire department one day. I open up my locker, and it's me everywhere wearing an ugly fish shirt and shorts from one of the advertisements. They found out. Somebody found out, right? Like, why did I think they wouldn't find out? I go in the kitchen, they'd put it on the inside of the cabinets. Like they must have collected flyers, did it all over.
Yeah.
So then that was out of the bag. So that's when I started moving into acting, doing basic little stuff, commercials no one's ever heard of, a lot of independent films, fan films, nothing Hollywood or anything like that, because I was working at the same time. And then I was also, I became a personal trainer. I was in the fitness world, working at area fitness facilities. And it just all kind of morphed to where eventually I said, well, I'm going to have to give up firefighter paramedic side. I'll keep going with the fitness and the creative side.
Yeah.
And then that morphed into sales, entrepreneurial work. I've really just done a lot of stuff. I worked at sea on a ship one time as a ship's doctor because you could be a
Uh-huh.
paramedic. I was a nationally registered paramedic, and at the time, if you had a landline to an MD, you could work on this seismographic vessel as a ship's doctor. Best job I ever
Oh,
had. I loved that job.
that's sick.
I loved it. It was so cool, and it was guys from all over the world. As an American, I was in the minority. And it was a caste system, man, and nobody questioned it. The Norwegians were at the top. Don't question it. Just don't do it. And they were cool. They were cool to me, but it was like all the way down to the Filipinos were at the bottom. They did all the cleaning. These guys worked like mad. Um,
Oh, dude.
and they were assigned because as a ship's doctor, I was also the safety officer and the fitness guy. Like I covered all of that as the ship's doctor. So I had to have the fire crew. That was part of the background. My little fire crew was all the Filipinos who couldn't speak English.
Oh my God.
We were going to save the ship. So yeah, I've got life stories, man. The older you
I'll
get, the
bet.
more.
I
So
bet. So
I
so when we look at you like now, current state, what are you working on? And then let's transition over to where do you hope to be in 1 to 3 years? But current state,
yeah.
what are you working on?
Well, right now I'm working with a functional medicine clinic, so functional health. It's Alessi Functional Health. Dr. Alfred Alessi and a gentleman by the name of Matt Tack are who I work with. They kind of recruited me in, but I tell them this now. I stalked you guys and weaseled my way into your brain, which is really what I did because I saw them on Facebook. I was yeah, I got to backtrack just a little. I'll try not to take up too much time, but I
Oh, you're
got
good.
really sick with the corporate world. I just got burnt on it. And even
Yeah.
I've been on LinkedIn since 2008. It's changed a lot. And when I was doing a lot of the fractional sales, because I had gotten to that point, companies were hiring me to come in, build sales teams for them, and do playbooks. I was just getting burnt on everybody wanting to have success, build me a sales team, but then they didn't do anything that I needed them to do. They wanted like quick success, but they didn't want to work for it. I just got tired of it. I backed away from it. I said, I'm done. And I started waiting tables at Beef O'Brady's, and I said, I'm going to be a bartender. And I never even mixed a drink at that point in my life. And they're like, you can't do that. No one's going to hire you. And I said, don't tell a Gen Xer he can't do something. Not only am I going to do it, I'm going to do it in a few months. And so I didn't do one of those stupid courses, that you come to bartending school. I didn't do that.
Yeah.
But I did do it online just so I can learn everything. And then I said, let me deconstruct this. How am I going to get to where I want to be? Who's going to hire me? I'm waiting tables at Beef O'Brady's. And then I thought, oh man, I need to work at a hotel. So I saw that the Hilton was hiring breakfast servers. So I get a job as a breakfast server. I work there. I go and I work nights at Beef O'Brady's. Like I'm working my tail off. But I got on the sub list for events for bartending.
Yeah, you did.
Started, man. With a month later, I'm bartending events. Then I could put that on my resume. Lo and behold, I work all the way up to working at some local areas, and then even got to bar back in this really cool speakeasy. They didn't take my fluff. They were like, no, you're bar backing. Anyway, I did that to recalibrate. And I think we all need to do that at times, not bartend necessarily, but I just needed to get out of the space and find myself again, be around people again, doing a lot of remote work. At that point, I said, well, this has been really fun. Now I need to pay the bills. So I guess I got to go back to corporate. And so I went back to sales, but I saw Dr. Alessi on Facebook. I just immediately liked his demeanor. I liked his attitude, and I'm all about functional health. Don't slap a Band-Aid. Don't give me a medication first. What's the root problem? Nothing wrong if you need medications. I just want to know what's the root problem. So that's how I got to know them. Then they found out about my fitness and sales history, and they wanted to launch a corporate initiative because they're a B2C, so they're brick and mortar. And then they brought me in to run the corporate wellness side. And that's really what I do now. I do love it because of this. I get to meet people, communicate with them, and then find out what they really need for their teams. And we customize it. And we get 2 to 4 times the engagement. Like it's the real deal, but we take it really seriously. So that's what I'm doing now. Long-winded story.
No, I love it. I do. I'm all in. Like I love it. I love how you tell the story. And but one of the things I want to go back to is because it has to do with the baseline of this show, Way of the Warrior, right? We talked about putting goodness back into this dark world. And it was a story, it was where you were talking about how you were acting. You were talking about the makeup people, the dress, like, hey, I put the clothes back up on the hangers. So you were simply and then you close it out by saying, I was doing what was right. Right. So when we talk about doing what's right, when we talk about being kind to others, because you do not know what opportunities just a simple act of kindness is going to open up. And it may not be, and 9 times out of 10, it is never instant gratification. It's a couple years down the road, right? It's like, oh, I remember, hey, you did this for me. I got you. Here's what we're going to do, right? And but that never happens if we don't put that out into the universe, right? If we don't act like that. And so I really wanted to hone in on that because that's what this show is about, talking about the individuals that are mindful of that. And then not only are they just mindful of it, but they're actually putting all of that into action. So
Yeah.
I love the functional health. Talk about um what are we looking for in the future? What are
Yeah.
we doing this and are we gonna do some acting and some writing? Because that'd be pretty cool.
Yeah. Well, you know what they say, if you're a writer, you're always writing, right?
Yeah,
So
fair. Yeah,
and so when
yeah.
people say, I want to be a writer, I'm like, well, what are you writing? Well, nothing yet. Yeah, you're not a writer then. Just write. Nobody can tell you you're
Yeah.
not a writer. So I always have things in the works. I like to share it with different family members. You know, my nephew seemed to really dig the latest thing I was writing, so I'm going to get nothing but positives from him. So I'll probably keep sending it to him for a while. But yeah, I love writing. For acting, the last thing I did was this really super cool fan film for Mortal Kombat. And now I
Oh,
didn't, I know, but I was never a Mortal Kombat guy. So this is where it really gets funny. Is they cast me as Raiden because without the beard and yeah, I actually look like Raiden. And so I know, right? It's really, you're gonna have
I,
to check it out, and I'll tell you
I'm
what
gonna
it's.
have to see this.
Oh, it's really
Okay, go
really
ahead.
good. So they kind of blew me away. These guys, their attention to detail, and they're true fans. Like they have the costuming made in the Ukraine, handmade. So it would be very particular. It was wild, and they wrote the script really really well. Um, and they cast me, but it was kind of lost on me at first until I showed up on set in like full regalia. I mean, hat and everything, and people almost couldn't look at me because that's how they're really fans, and they were like, "Oh
Yeah,
my god, it's Raiden!" Right? So
yeah.
it's called Mortal Kombat Death Right, and you can see it on YouTube. It's a fan film. It
No, I know.
really got great reviews from the fans, and a tremendous amount of views and subscribers. And so those guys, they are now putting together a fan film for Star Wars. They're also diehard Star Wars, authentic,
Yeah.
more original, like me. And apparently, I'll be a Jedi mentor in that. Yeah, right. It's not for a while yet.
No,
Probably.
that's so sick. I'll be honest with you. I'm a dark side fan all the way, but that's still sick. Like this
Yeah.
is awesome, dude.
You a dark side? What?
I know.
Yeah.
Who knew, right? Like who knew?
There's a shocker. But yeah, I love the acting. Part of it, if I
Yeah.
could do that, I am. I know everyone's like, I'm really good. Nah, I'm actually am good. I think it has to do with, I moved 22 times before I was 18. So on top of all the stuff that I went through, I was always a new kid. Like you mentioned bullying,
Yeah.
holy hell. Like I've been through it, up one side, down the other. Um, and my brothers were bodybuilders back before it was a thing, so it was like
Yeah.
so much dichotomy. There were so many different kinds of people in my life all the time, and new places. So I had to relate, and that requires acting. When you're a kid and I
Mm.
just want to get through the day, and I really honed my skills just through life. That's accurate. Where do I want to be? I love where I'm working right now, and I haven't said that in a really long time.
My
These are
man.
good. Yeah, they're really good guys. They care about people, which is pretty amazing when you have leadership that genuinely cares about people. They
Yeah.
do not want you to be pushing through people who aren't a good fit, and I refuse to work for any company that requires that. I had some good paying jobs with some high guru leaders everybody would know, working on their sales team, and I can't stay here just because pushing people through that don't actually need the solution you're offering is it's wrong. It's an evil thing to
Yeah.
do, and it's thievery
Yeah.
as far as I'm concerned. So I love working for a team that gets it, and we really are bent on improving true health and wellness. That's from between the ears, you know, heart, nerves, sleep, stress. What do they really, really need at any one particular company? And then plan it that way. So I'll be here. I'll definitely be with this group until they kick me to the curb, probably. But we're growing fast, and yeah. But I always love the acting. I mean, I think they know if Spielberg calls, they got to find a new director.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
the
I
way.
love that. I love that. Listen, I'm gonna be honest with you. Like, if Marvel or DC or Image is like, we need us aren't later, right?
See
That's
ya.
awesome, man.
See
Yeah.
ya.
Um, so Jim, as we wrap this up, how can individuals get a hold of you? Like, what social media? Because audience, I'm gonna tell you right now, you got to get this guy on your roster. And Jim, how can they do that? What social media platforms are you on?
Well, LinkedIn is going to be the best one. That's really where I focus the most. I am on Instagram. I don't post on there much. I know that's probably like a travesty, but I just don't. I'm on Facebook, but that's really just for personal stuff. But I don't get any of those methods. I am easily reached. I'm not really on X, Twitter, X, any of that stuff. But yeah, they can reach out to me or yeah, send me an email. I don't care. Yeah, I will say this: if you just do it for a pitch slap, I won't get angry, but I will call you to a higher level.
Yeah,
You will
I
get
love
a
that, dude.
you will get a mentoring
Uh,
lesson from me.
I love it. Oh, I got a friend Michael who's the
Kanowski, I know Michael.
yeah, dude.
You just got to say his
He's
first name, and I know who you're talking about.
that's it, man. Michael, he's the
My
same
Russian
exact.
name.
Yeah, come into my DMs. Let me tell you something. Yeah, you
Yeah,
just try it. Oh God, I love it. Um,
he's the
well, hey,
best.
yes, Jim, I gotta tell you, I'm blessed. So first of all, blessed to know you. And honored that you're part of this show. I gotta thank you for being here, and I'm excited for the things that are gonna happen. I can't wait to watch this Mortal Kombat film, and excited about the Star Wars one. Also, definitely going to have you back on the show to kind of continue this conversation. So,
I love.
just thank you so very much for being here. I really appreciate it, man.
No, likewise, I appreciate it. This has been a blast. And that's only a tip of
It's,
the storytelling.
dude,
I
hey,
can't
we're gonna
guarantee it'll
do.
be the same next time because I'm making it all up, but it'll be good. Just kidding.
Hell yeah, man. Audience, hey, we're gonna wrap this up. We're gonna see you next time. And Jim, once again, thank you so very much for being here.
Thank you.
All right, later, everybody.